And Ireland get this Olympic qualifier underway, attacking the goal away to our left-hand side in the green top and skirts, white socks. Canada in the all black. And this really is a do-or-die situation for both sides. Final seconds. And that is it. It is tied at 0-0, drama at the very end. And over 2 matches, there are no goals to split Ireland and Canada. Full time here in Dublin. Ireland 0, Canada 0. We're going to a shootout. Watkins into the circle, has to score. Watkins to the left-hand side. Watkins trying to spin the keeper, scores! And Ireland have come from 1-3 down to tie it up at 3-3. And we go to sudden death. Unbelievable scenes here at Donnybrook. Woodcroft, silence descends upon the stadium. Woodcroft into the circle at pace. Woodcroft scored the first time. Can she score the second? She's missed it. And it is Ireland who are going to the Olympic Games. They have turned around the most improbable situation at 1-3 down in the shootout. And Ireland are going to Tokyo. There is joy for the Green Army. Finally, after years of trying, Ireland have a women's team going to the Olympic Games. And look what it means to Roisin Upton and those in green here tonight.
Yeah, as you heard there, Ireland for the very first time have a women's side going to a Summer Olympics from the game of field hockey following a dramatic penalty victory over Canada at Energy Park in Donnybrook last night. I'm delighted to say we're joined in studio by 2 members of that victorious side, Captain Katie Mullan and also Nicci Daly joins us in studio as well. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Nicci?
Thank you.
Your voices and all that, how are we doing celebration-wise?
Just about. Now, if you got me a few hours earlier, you'd have struggled to make me out.
I'm actually delighted that somebody was like, yeah, OK, well, come in and do a bit of radio tonight, because it's the hardest thing you can actually do is try and put yourself out there following, I guess, such a night and the celebrations that were 100% warranted given the journey that this team has been on.
Yeah, no, we had great celebrations last night. Full squad. Players that didn't make selection were there, and it's those special moments that you enjoy together.
That's what strikes me, is that the bond surrounding this squad as a whole seems to be immense, like absolutely immense, and that's built over many years. That's something that you can't just instill. It's not a team bonding exercise. It's not a game out paintballing in the middle of summer and the Saturday afternoon. This is something that's built from going through trials and tribulations, ups and downs together, Nicci.
Yeah, I think it probably stems from all the experiences that you've had, good and bad, and I think this team has been through a lot of tough times, and it's also seen its highs as well. And you just take all the learnings together, and you bring the people in that come along, like the youth and the experience mixed together, and you just try and work towards a goal that everyone's on the same journey towards, and that's kind of what's happened here. We're just we've always had the goal of the Olympics, and yeah, we finally did it. We've
spoken on this show a lot recently, obviously enough, in terms of the Rugby World Cup and in terms of 4-year cycles and all that kind of thing, and whether or not it's a useful exercise from a rugby perspective to be aiming for something that's 4 years in the future, because you can't plan, I suppose, the minutiae of things between then. But in terms of how things went down 4 years ago, in terms of being denied a place in Rio to having that united goal of getting to Tokyo, it seems like to me that the World Cup happened as a nice little happy accident and a bit of a pressure reliever in terms of what this year would be for you. Is that fair to say, Katie?
Yeah, I think, the World Cup was no pressure, no expectation. It was our chance to kind of show people what we kind of knew ourselves we were capable of. And then it obviously gave us a huge boost in our Olympic qualification journey. So our ranking went up to 8th in the world, and that meant that we got that home draw, and it just made a world of difference for who we would end up playing in the qualifier. And we said straight after the World Cup that we set out with the goal of achieving Olympics, and that was very much still the goal, and that's what encouraged us to get straight back out onto the pitch after we won that silver medal. And no one kind of went wayward or went to the wayside, because that was what we'd set out to do. And so yeah, it was massive for us from a confidence booster point of view, and also to get people, if we didn't do what we did last summer, we wouldn't have had 6,000 plus people in the stands yesterday and on Saturday. So
we were talking about this during the newsroom. Mary Hannigan mentioned it in her piece reviewing the game, that there was ticket touts outside Energy Park for a hockey game. Like, there are people, anyone buying or selling, which is like a brilliant and remarkable statement about the journey that this team has been on, that you've become a draw in your own hometown and people are scrambling to get tickets for these things, and you had a combined 12,000 plus over the course of the 2 nights. I mean, that's brilliant, you know?
Yeah, the support was amazing. I mean, you know, the weather on Saturday was not ideal. In fact, I think the pitch was pretty much unplayable in the second half, but to just look around and see people standing, you know, there was one side that was covered, but the other side had absolutely nothing in terms of shelter, and everyone stayed out, nobody left, and everyone, they wanted to be there, they wanted to witness, you know, seeing if we could get to the Olympics, and it's just great. And then at the end of the game last night, there was people stayed on well after the full-time whistle, and you know, it's just great to have that kind of support. It
was fantastic. It was relentless in terms of the support and the noise and all that kind of thing over the course of the 2 nights. The conditions on Saturday we have to mention, because I know the pitch was laid specially for the matches. I don't know if the pitch itself was any different. They said it was up to spec with everything else. Everything was okay on that front, I'm guessing?
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but in hockey, every turf you play on is a little bit different.
Okay.
It was a very fast pitch. We find it wasn't quite as bouncy as we would be used to, but it seemed to drain really well. So I reckon if that much rainfall on a normal hockey pitch, it would have held the water and there would have been big puddles in the pitch and it might have been called off. But because it drained so well, the umpires kind of kept the game going. And I suppose when it's such a big spectacle like that, you don't want something
like that to come down to an act of God. Like that would have been the absolute worst of both worlds, is to have to come off for, you know, reasons of rain and just saturation of the pitch and all that kind of thing. But it made the game a hard one to play as well on Saturday.
Yeah, totally. Well, we felt like we played a good first half. The hockey we played in the first half was the kind of hockey we wanted to play, and then unfortunately with the weather and the conditions, we had to switch things up a little bit, and it meant that we couldn't quite execute our game plan that we had planned against Canada. And then it set us up for a final yesterday, and it wasn't much prettier, but at least the conditions weren't playing a part.
The very fact that this is like a kind of 2-legged playoff, those things can be nervy affairs at the best of times, because you're almost playing the first leg with the second one in mind, but when it's scoreless after the first one, that completely heaps the pressure on both sides heading into game 2. I
think, you know, for us it was the fact that it was 0-0 kind of meant that there was no way of looking at it one way or the other. You know, if we had been a goal up or if it had been a goal down, you always try and think a bit differently. But the fact that it was 0-0 meant it was, you know, you just get to start, you just get to play a final, and that's it, start from scratch. And it just made it more about, this is it, this is the game. There was no sort of, okay, well, how are we going to come back, or how are we going to keep our lead, or anything like that. So I think actually, you know, the fact that it did end 0-0 wasn't too much of a mental challenge for us. It was just more like, okay, this is it now, this is the final. Get out and try and play as good as we can.
4 quarters go by and we still haven't had a goal. We get to penalties, something which we became all too familiar with during the course of the World Cup run as well. You don't make things easy for us.
No, but we make things exciting. Yeah, no, it was not what we'd planned at all, but you always have to, you know, we always expect, you know, something different to be thrown at us, and we have a huge amount of experience in the shootouts, but the girls also had done their homework. Aisha had done her homework, and that shown, you know, to come back from 3-1 down in a shootout, that was high pressure, and the girls executed really well.
That's a statement of absolute complete mental stability, is that you can be 3-1 down in a penalty shootout with such high stakes and manage to keep your composure, and especially Aisha, to be able to, you know, execute a victory from that point is just a remarkable thing altogether, Nick.
Yeah, I think, you know, Aisha's obviously been there before with the World Cup last year, and I think, you know, the first 2 didn't go so well for her, but actually that's just the way she is. She's able to just go, reset, let's go again, I'm still in this, we're still in this, and, you know, it's not over till it's over, and she showed that when she stepped up and saved that one, kept us in it.
The nonsense you always hear from footballers is that we never practice penalties. Even coming out of the FA Cup final last night, it was like, the Rovers didn't practice penalties. Clearly in hockey you have to.
Yeah, no, you definitely do have to. But it's very, very difficult to replicate the pressure of that type of situation. We would practice penalties all the time at the end of training. Even after test games, we would practice them. But, like, they're irrelevant. It doesn't mean anything. You're not playing for anything. So it's really, really difficult to replicate
every
that kind
keeper
of
is different as well. So we obviously...
Because you've got the variable of the keeper coming off the line, which is...
and they can do something different every time that they come out. So it's hard. I mean, you can watch the keeper in previous shootouts and see what they do. But at the end of the day, it's, 8 seconds and you got to go and just try and get in the back of the net.
It's the pressure of it is something I absolutely can't get my head around. Give us a sense of Aisha, the character, because it comes across. Goalkeepers always have to be a bit mad, is what we hear. That doubly seems to be the case, and you have to apply yourself with padding galore and guards and all that kind of stuff in terms of hockey. Give us a sense of Aisha McCormack, the character.
Oh, she's a great character. She brings a lot of life to our team. She's often the loudest one on the bus.
Yeah.
But
it's saying what, or like coming out with what, or
just
is it singing?
Singing, a lot of singing. She's one of the DJs of the team and tends to bring a lot of R&B music onto the bus and that sort of thing.
She's confident as well, and she's somebody that prepares really, really well, though. She knows the game inside out. I mean, she knows it better than most of the outfield players and our structure and our press and everything. So, she understands the game so well that it allows her to know that she is confident in what she's doing, and I think that stands for her for someone that's as young as she is and as experienced as she is at that age. It's great that we have her on our team. So
Irish international sides of various different sports always seem to be infected with a sense of inferiority complex, even if they aren't like the second best team on the pitch or the second best team in the tournament or whatever. There seems to be a sense of, we're only from a small nation, etc., etc. The sense of confidence that comes from each and every one of you that I've encountered so far seems to be remarkable. There seems to be this inbuilt confidence in the squads. I don't know if it's a noticeable or tangible thing to you at all.
I feel like it's a confidence more so in one another. We all know what every person in our squad is capable of, and we've seen them do it in high pressure situations, and so that kind of confidence, I think, is what we use as the confidence that we have in each other. I don't think it's like a cocky thing, and I think we've proven, with our results, that we can put it up to any team in the world on our day. We've also been a team, though, that's been knocking on the door for a lot of years, and that allows your confidence to grow when we're getting there, we're taking a step in the right direction, and we kept taking a step in the right direction. And then you get to the World Cup and we do what we did last year, and that's just, that's it. That's the confidence boosted again, is to say, yes, we know we've been on this, this road to this success, and we knew we could do something big. And that's where you get the confidence from. It's not just something that just happened. There was steps there to get into that stage. And
mentally there seemed to be the framework in place to try and get past something like Graham Shaw stepping away, which happened, I think, to the surprise of everybody, I reckon, least of all the players. But it helps that John Answer can come in and do what he does, and that there doesn't seem to be too much of a clash of outlooks on the game, I guess.
Yeah, I think if you look at the demographic of our team, we have a lot of caps among us, and we've played a lot of international hockey games together, so we know each other really well. So with a coach, you just want someone that can come in and deliver the tactics to you that you need, and will drive you in training and push you, and that's exactly what Sean's done. His style of play is a lot more attacking, and we've kind of bought into that, and you can see it in the way we're trying to play hockey. Maybe not in the last 120 minutes, but in Antwerp, definitely we were playing the style of hockey he wanted to play. But I think it comes from hundreds of games played together and knowing each other so well that that sense of togetherness, a coach will just help us, with the tactics and give us maybe a few different things to think about.
I was in Rio 3 years ago. I was actually around the hockey team a lot because they were making history, the first team in however long it was, I think it was 100 years or so, to represent Ireland at an Olympic Games. You're going to be the first women's sides to break that ground. That's going to be a huge thing, getting to be in and around an Olympic village. That's going to be a completely separate, like sitting there and doing your kind of morning walk, and you're like, oh look, there's Usain Bolt, oh look, there's such and such from the basketball. It's a completely different and unique set of circumstances. Is it something you've thought about or given yourself time to think about yet?
I don't know, probably not too much now. Yeah, I think it's obviously, you know, the pinnacle of the sport, and it's where you want to be. So obviously we've no idea what it's going to be like. We've never been there, and it's going to be, you know, a totally new experience to us. But I think we'll just take it all in and not maybe let the occasion get to us. We still want to achieve something when we get there. We don't just want to take part. So, you know, as much as it will be a big occasion, there's definitely going to be things that we want to achieve while we're out there.
Yeah, plus, as soon as it was noticeable, especially over there, that you're kind of ages away from the Olympic Village, so it just becomes a hockey tournament, and that's what you can zero in on. It becomes another set of, I think it's 3 games in the group to go and win, so it becomes a very familiar territory for you.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, that's all we've really thought about so far, is it as a hockey tournament. I'm not sure we've thought about the
village
and all the other sports going on, and I'm like, sure, that will be amazing, but Sean has also Olympic experience, which is massive, because he knows exactly how it works, and he'll be able to help us prepare for that. So I've no doubt he'll have a solid plan in place to simulate the kinds of things that go on at Olympic Games.
If nothing else, this is going to be a massive springboard for the sport in the country at home. And don't know if you have a sense of what you've done for your sport.
Oh yeah, I think, you know, you've seen it over the last year. Like, we have put hockey on the map. I've seen Instagram stories of the Gaelic teams that were in the final last night, watching it in their clubs, and it's just it's great to see so many people getting behind it, and yeah, we've had people joining clubs. Clubs are inundated with memberships. It's, you know, it's growing, and we want to just keep it going now as much as we can.
We mentioned the unity of the squad. We mentioned the fact that Aisha's kind of the resident DJ. Who was responsible? I saw this clip doing the rounds of the celebrations last night for the fondness for the Lighthouse family within the squad.
I think Shirley McKay would take that's
credit for that one. Yeah,
that's our, every time we win an international game, even if it's a small friendly game, or if it's a big massive tournament, we get together and sing that song in the change room afterwards. And Shirley kind of came up with the song when we were in South Africa, I think.
Yeah.
For the qualifier for the World Cup. So
was there any reluctance to her decision, or
there was a lot of the younger girls had never heard it before.
Now they know every single word off by heart, and it's
the first thing when a new member comes in. The first thing they have to do is learn the words.
They've an initiation ceremony.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay, that's it's an interesting one. Still, hold on, we're into Mariah country now as well at this stage of the year.
Yeah, we're getting close, aren't we?
She's reminded us as well on social media. She's put it out there. It's like as soon as it hits November 1st, she's into gaining loads of stuff. It's going to be an interesting one to hear. All I Want for Christmas Is You in August, I think it is, of next year from Tokyo. That's going to be a slightly interesting scenario. Definitely going to happen though.
Yeah, I'm sure at some stage it'll happen.
What's the plan from here on out? Back to the clubs, back to kind of getting the head down, or just revel in this for a few more days?
I think there's a little bit of a relax and recharge weeks ahead, and then back to the clubs, enjoy a bit of Christmas, and then hit the ground running come January.
We've had a few texts in. David and Choom saying immense achievement, what incredible role models Katie, Nicci and the whole team are. Congratulations. What a weekend for Irish women in sport. Hockey, Katie Taylor, Sinead Diver 5th in the New York Marathon, Wexford Youths winning the Cup of the Aviva. Margaret and Bantry sent us in that. Give us any team except the Netherlands, says one texter. Anybody looking to avoid? Anybody you're hoping to get?
I know, give us the Netherlands. We want another crack at them.
I'm ready to beat Great Britain as well.
There we go. Challenge laid down to Great Britain as well. Frank and Susan Donna Bates saying we've been planning a big trip to Tokyo for the Olympics next summer, but had been sitting on the fence. Watched the match last night and booked my flights straight away. Go on the women's hockey.
Wow.
There you
awesome.
go.
Great, yeah.
Such big decisions are made upon what went down over the course of the last 2 nights in Donnybrook, and it's a testament to the side and the teamwork and everything that's been put in over the past God knows how many years cumulatively amongst the side as well. So from every one of us here as well, congratulations to the whole team.
Thank you very much.
And very best a look at Tokyo, and as you say, bring on Great Britain and the Netherlands. We will be back with more. Congratulations again to the Irish women's hockey side. We'll be talking more after this.
Off the Ball on News Talk.